What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the J&J Power Hour. It is a special episode this week because, why not add a little bit of extra pressure onto our weeks for Christmas? Now, we're recording this live on Twitch, guys, so for anyone that's listening on the podcast version, you might hear some different alert sounds. You might hear some chats coming in. Dara Amazing's in the chat. Hello, hello. So we're going to be talking to the chat. We're going to be talking Christmas. You can see I got my little Christmas hat, fucking Santa thing on. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know, Santa hat? What would you call it?
Santa hat. Yeah,
Santa hat? Yeah, Santa hat.
Yeah.
And you can't really see on this, but I was walking around. I went and did some Christmas shopping this morning. And people
I was going to ask if that was...
Well, people thought it was
like snowflakes.
Well, okay. So it looks it looks kind of just like white blobs. That sounds bad. But white blobs on screen. But people thought they were weed trees. And now I'm like, oh no, am I a stoner? Which, I mean, I'm not, it's not the worst thing in the world to be a stoner.
Yeah, I was going to say, it could be worse.
It could be way worse. But, I'm just like, oh, am I walking around in weed trees? But no, they're actual palm trees. But,
oh, okay.
But, it's summer, it's summery. I thought I'd wear a button-up shirt, but now I'm kind of regretting my choice because I was just like, someone told me I look...
It's a nice shirt.
Well, some people told me I look like a toddler. I've got, yellow shorts on. It's definitely a look, but, I thought I'd try something else. Usually I'm just like a t-shirt, jean shorts kind of guy, but I thought, let's change it up a little bit. I don't know if it's really my thing. I don't know.
Sometimes you have to.
I don't know.
You're not going to know unless you don't try, right?
That's
so you
true.
tried it. If it's not your thing, now you know. Right?
That's true. And it's kind of a bit warm. I didn't realize how warm it would be to wear. Whoa, something just fell down.
Oh, something just fell. Yeah, I saw that.
It was my World Heavyweight Championship, of course.
Oh, there we go.
What's the plan? Dara Amazing, we're recording this show right now. This is what we're doing. We're recording as we speak. You can chat along with us if you want to, but we're doing a live recording, something different, see if it's something that you guys are interested in. This will still go up, by the way, for anyone that's listening on the podcast version or on YouTube. This means nothing to you. If you guys listening here on Twitch or watching here on Twitch, this will still go up at normal time. We're just doing this is what we do every week. Usually we record on a Tuesday morning, Monday night, JPJ time, but I work retail. It's a busy week.
Same.
So this is when I had a chance to do this, and I was like, well, let's do it live, before NXT. I like the I was going to say the black and gold brand, but RIP that. What would you call it now? What is it called now?
It's NXT 2.0, right? That's what it is, 2.0.
Yeah.
The color splatter, I don't know. It's like
it doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
It's not tie-dye,
It's not tie-dye, no. It's definitely not tie-dye.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
2.0. I'll just say 2.0.
2.0, baby. But yeah, we're going to be doing this obviously before NXT and everything like that. So we'll be done well before NXT. So don't stress anyone that's in NXT. diehard, you can still watch NXT. I'm an NXT diehard, so I make sure that, usually when we record, we're usually doing this before Raw, and we don't really give two shits if we run into Raw.
No.
But for NXT, I like to watch NXT, and if we were doing this before Dynamite or something like that, we'd be making sure we're on the mark. You know what I mean? We weren't gonna miss it. But it's
Oh,
go for
I
it.
have a question for you.
Oh.
I know we're going to talk Christmas here, but are you excited for AJ Styles to confront Grayson Waller tonight on NXT? Because apparently that's happening.
Yeah.
So the big spot for Grayson Waller. I know you and I have a similar opinion on him.
I do not like
as
Grayson
a performer
Waller.
so far.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Grayson
AJ
Waller.
Styles going down there, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Well, it just reminds me of old NXT. Do you remember when NXT used to tape in blocks of 4 at Full Sail, back when it was the days of Bo Dallas and Tyler Breeze and all those people? And people used to come down every tapings. You'd have a different person every taping to work with the talent. They usually would work the main event. That's what it reminds me of AJ going down there to work with literally new talent, which is...
Yeah.
In this case, Grayson Waller. I just don't like Grayson Waller. He rubs me the wrong way, and it's not like heel kind of stuff. It's not because he's a heel. It's just I don't like him, and I don't think he's very good. But also, I will admit, even though my personal take on him is I don't really like him, I can see the potential that he has. He cuts a nice promo, and that's saying something for someone with a very thick Australian accent. because sometimes it just comes across weird because they sound really
Yeah.
different. But he doesn't. He kind of fits it. I just really don't like him. I don't like the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he smiles, I just hate it. I just don't like Grayson
Fair.
Waller. I don't like him.
That's fair.
But I hope AJ
Yeah.
Styles beats the piss out of him. But whether he does, whether he doesn't, I don't really know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But for anyone that's listening on the podcast side of things or watching on YouTube at our normal Thursday slot, you'll know what happens. But we don't know.
I had to ask.
Yeah,
That's the only wrestling thing you'll get out of me. I just had to ask.
Oh no, that's okay.
So.
We'll probably talk Christmas wrestling stuff. That's a
Hey-o.
It is Christmas this week, though. We talked a little bit about Christmas, and we've talked about Christmas off air before, but we're both fans of Christmas. I mean, working is one thing. That aside, the actual Christmas itself.
I try my best to separate the two.
You know,
I try my best to separate the
I don't mind a good Christmas carol every now and again. I don't mind a Christmas jingle. I don't mind the actual day of Christmas is nice. Like the food, you get presents, you get all this stuff, you get to be around people you like or you don't like, all of the family sometimes you don't get along with. But it isn't the same as it was when you were a child. Because Christmas as a kid is just like the best thing ever.
Amazing.
But there's different things that you learn to appreciate about Christmas as you get older. It's a little bit less like Christmas as a kid was like, fuck yeah, I'm getting presents and I'm going to unwrap this shit and I'm going to play with them all day and it's going to be the greatest day ever. Even as a teenager, like instead of getting like toys, you'd get like video games and you'd get like different kinds of things. You'd be like, oh fuck yeah, like, electronics and stuff like this. As an adult, you get more underwear and socks and skincare, but like it's stuff that you need that you don't necessarily want to spend your own money on. Like my mum hooks me up. So I appreciate that. So you learn to get different things and you learn to appreciate the other side of Christmas, which is seeing family, actually sitting down and having a meal with one another. Because when do you ever get to sit down and have a meal as a family anymore? It's just it's not a thing that my family does that often, unless it's Christmas or like birthdays. You're really not sitting down, obviously, every night to eat as a family because you're not with each other every day. So it is nice in that sense to get like a bit of family time. And to be honest, it's an excuse to day drink because I day drink on Christmas.
I mean, of course, you have to.
My mum is like, if you want to drink at breakfast time, I won't judge you. I'm like, I might take you up on that offer, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the day where I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm staying at my mum's house. I can just sit around and eat food, drink, eat a bunch of chocolate. Like, sign me up.
Yeah. So, for me, like you had mentioned family and things like that. So for me, it's like, I see my family a good amount, but you see, for me at least, I see my aunts and uncles. I see certain people that I don't see as much as I see my mom and my sister and things of that nature. And I don't get me wrong, I see them a fair amount as the year goes, but these last couple years have obviously been less, with obviously everything that's been going on. But it feels like Christmas is the one time that you when you see those people, at least me, that I just kind of like cherish it more, kind of. Not that it's any different.
Yeah,
you're still with them as you were maybe a couple months ago at a cookout or something. But I don't know. You're just kind of, I think, just the atmosphere of the holiday, and you're sharing a meal. There is some sort of gift swapping of things. I don't know. I just feel like it's more cherished time. And as you get older, sadly, and people get older, and some pass or whatever, it just changes the dynamic of how you remember that time a little bit. You know what I mean?
100%. I completely agree.
Yeah. So that's sappy. Sorry, but that's
no,
that's how it goes.
It is. As an adult, you have to realize what Christmas actually is. So I still like Christmas. I still get into the spirit as much as I can. But what about for you? Is there any, like, you don't have to get too into your personal life if you don't want to, but is there any Christmas traditions that you kind of do every year as a family or as just around Christmas time? You're like, I always do this at Christmas time. Is there anything that you do specifically? I know some people have them, some people don't.
Yeah. So the big thing for the family is Christmas Eve. So Christmas Day, uh, we would be on the move. So my family, both sides of my family live not far from each
Sporadic.
other. So
Okay,
it's
got
not
you.
like it's a huge travel day, but like we usually are on the road.
Mhm.
And Christmas Day, we would hit my mom's side for like lunch. And then we would go at nighttime to my dad's side. That's how we
Yeah.
went every year. But Christmas Eve was like the big extravaganza. That was more of an extravaganza kind of atmosphere than Christmas Day. Christmas
Got
Day
you.
was obviously great, but Christmas Eve was the big one. So obviously that hasn't happened the last couple of years with big groups and things of that nature. But Christmas Eve was really a night, and we always watch here in the States on TNT, the same channel that shows Dynamite. Starting at 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve, they play A Christmas Story, and they
Oh,
play it for 24 hours straight. So
heck.
that's like yeah. Obviously, we don't watch it for 24 hours straight, but when it first comes on at 8 o'clock, we usually go we'll go in the living room. It'll be after we eat. We'll turn it on, and then that's when we do like the gifts while it starts, and it's kind of
Gotcha.
that was like kind of our big tradition. And then there's
Gotcha.
like obviously now there's not for me, but there's grandchildren and little
Mm-hmm.
kids, so it's still fun because you see them losing their mind,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can
yeah.
kind of find enjoyment in that. So, yeah, that's kind of the big tradition that I looked forward to, and the meal is just absurd, just an absurd meal, like
Yeah, well, food
too
is
much
like
food, like just yeah,
food is the oh
food is amazing. Yeah,
food is the food
there's a
is the
reason
best
there's a
thing.
reason I'm a chubby guy, so it's because I love me some food.
Hey,
So yeah,
I also love food, so don't worry. I'm a food person. A Christmas Eve, I wouldn't say it's a tradition, but for the most part, nearly every year, I like to go look at Christmas lights, usually with my sister or my little brother. I love
yep.
going and looking at Christmas lights, but I don't know. There's not
I'll be
as
doing that this week as well. I do like to do that
I
as
don't
well.
see as many around anymore as I used to. Maybe it's just because I'm not a child and I'm not like, look at lights. But like, I
Yeah,
don't remember. I remember them. Vividly remember them being more people would partake in putting up Christmas lights on their house.
yeah.
But it is what it is. But usually we try to do that. For some reason, the Christmas movie that I always watch, and I know it's not even that great of a Christmas movie, so don't come at me. Christmas with the Cranks. Do you remember Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis? And they like try to skip
Yeah, no, I
Christmas.
definitely remember the movie. Who's the father and who's
Tim
the
Allen,
male lead in that movie?
T-
Tim
Ti-
Allen
and
and
Jamie
Jamie Lee
Lee.
Curtis.
Yeah,
I remember the movie. Yes, I don't know. I can't remember honestly
it's
if I've ever seen it
it's
though.
it's 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 a good. It's not that it's not a good movie. It's a good movie, but like it's pretty like cheesy. It's a cheesy family like Christmas movie. You can
But I mean,
imagine.
a
It's got
lot of
Tim
Christmas
Allen in it,
movies.
so you can imagine. Um,
Yeah, I
but
mean that's
it's
Santa Claus though.
well, it
That's
is.
how I roll with it.
It is the Santa Claus. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I always watch that at around Christmas time. It's not really like a tradition on like watch it here, but like I always watch it around Christmas time.
Hmm.
That's a fun thing. I don't know why I do. But Christmas Eve is just Christmas light looking. We don't really get together as a family. Christmas Day is really where
Yeah.
I like early. I have to go to because my little brother's still young. He's
Hmm.
12. He's just turned 12. So he's
Hmm.
still young, so he's still a kid. So we get up relatively early so we can go around because Zach's like, fucking hurry up,
Yeah.
people, so
Christmas. Like,
I
let's
want to
go.
open my
Yeah.
presents because mum
Yeah.
makes sure that she waits for the siblings to get
Everyone
there.
to get there.
So
Yeah.
we all have to come in and we all live in the same place, so it's not like it's far, but like my older brother, my sister, all of that, we all come to my mum's house, watch Zach unwrap his presents. Mum still makes it, makes sure that we get presents. Like Santa will bring us gifts. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
Santa will drop in and be like, "Hey, got something for you, Josh and Shaylee, Dylan, like everyone." Holy moly, moly! Love Wrestling has just gifted 5 subscriptions in the chat. Thank you so much, Spencer. You will hear some alerts popping up, everybody. Just warning you. Just saying. You hear some. There will be 3 more just coming in, so I won't get into too much conversation because Natalia keeps popping in on my screen saying "get off my property" because of my sub alert. But thank you, Spencer. That's 30. 30 gifted subs in the chat that they've given. Like, that's just insane.
That's wild.
Spencer's
That's wild.
Spencer's a very nice man.
He is. He is a peach. I love that man.
Yeah, so do I. Spencer, I just want to say to you, Spencer, from both of us, I can speak for JPJ. We hope you have a lovely Christmas. Platformer AU, thank you so much for the follow. We really do mean that from our hearts.
100%. Well, it's Christmas time. You're allowed to be sappy. You should be allowed to be sappy. It's Christmas time.
Yeah, but even to
Come
Spencer, come on.
We just said we loved him.
I do. I love Spencer. But I don't know what else. Oh yeah, Christmas. So yeah, we all go to my mum's house and blah blah blah. Watch all presents and all that. We usually have Christmas lunch at my mum's house, and then things start getting a little spicy because usually I've drank a little bit by then, and then it gets a little like, whoa, what's going on here? We try to play a board game. I don't know why. We try to do it's the one time of the year we sit down as a family, try to play like Monopoly or Scrabble or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just something. We just try to sit down together and then we all go off and do our own things because Zach's got his like gifts and stuff that he wants to play with and I got all my shit and we just kind of chill around and start again in the evening, you know what I mean? Start again, another meal. You got to fit in more. You know when you have that big, huge lunch, and then you sit down, and you're like,
oh yeah, and then you're like, I got a somewhat fine room here.
But you do. You always
of course
find room.
Yeah, you figure it out. Yeah. So is Christmas with the Cranks really the only movie? Like it is it the only one you?
It's the only one that I watch on like
4 or 5 that I make sure I watch every year.
It's Platformer, thank you. It's morning for me. JPJ, it's the evening, but obviously, if you can't tell, I am very much Australian. As I'm assuming you are Platformer with the AU at the end, but I could be wrong. I don't want to assume anyone's nationality. Would that be the way to say that?
Yeah.
I was trying to say that so politically correct then. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's right.
I'm always so scared about saying things like that because I'm like, am I going to say the wrong thing? I don't want to get cancelled for anything here. I don't know. I just get a bit. You do got to walk on eggshells on the internet though, because you never know when someone's going to take it the wrong way, and you're like, I didn't mean to offend you. So I don't want to just be like you're Australian because you have AU at the name. Maybe you're not. Anyway, Christmas with the Cranks. It's not the only Christmas movie I've ever watched. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like it's the one that I always go back to every year. Of like, oh, it's Christmas time. I'm going to watch this. But
gotcha.
Okay, it was the right assumption, so I'm fine. So
there we go.
Fellow Aussie. But yeah, so Christmas with the Cranks is the only one. I can't think of any other Christmas movies that I'm like, man, I am like in love with. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I always make sure I watch Home Alone. Yeah. I always make sure I watch Home.
That was the lamest thing that I've ever done.
I got it immediately. I liked it. Yeah, so that's usually the first one. I usually watch that Thanksgiving weekend, like obviously American Thanksgiving weekend. Like it's on a Thursday. Sometime that weekend, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch Home Alone. Yeah, and I'll do that. And then there's a couple others that I make sure I watch. But yeah, I don't know. I don't, with work, and I don't want to get too much into work, but with work and just the schedules of like, hey, I still need to go out and shop and like buy things for people and do.
You don't have a lot of time.
And no, there's not a lot of time to really like dive into super, a ton of stuff. However, around Christmas time, it does make me think about Harry Potter. So I usually watch the Harry Potter. Some form.
I guess it's the age-old debate. Platformer just put in the chat. Die Hard is a great Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas. It's a Christmas movie, and I won't hear anything else. It is a Christmas movie.
It is. I was gonna say Die Hard is a great movie, and Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But I do not believe that Die Hard is a great Christmas movie.
I could get behind that, but it is a Christmas movie, and anyone that tells you that it isn't a Christmas 100%. Movie is wrong. It's a Christmas movie.
100%.
It's Christmas. Anything with Christmas in the movie, to me, is a Christmas movie. That's how I judge a Christmas movie. If it's Christmas at some point in the movie, it's a Christmas movie. So if it's Christmas
time in the movie, it's a Christmas movie, no matter what. Like even if Christmas doesn't have to be the main theme.
Yes,
but does Christmas
that's how I judge
to be a theme?
It has to be there has to be at least 1 to 2 scenes where it's like, all right, it's Christmas time. I can see that it's Christmas. I would call Mean Girls a Christmas movie because they perform the Jingle Bell Rock. They're in Christmas outfits. There's a whole Christmas fucking thing in the, like, what's it called? Like a show, like a play,
See,
whatever.
yeah,
Talent show.
I can accept that. I can accept that argument or that point. But I've never viewed Mean Girls as a Christmas movie at all.
No. I'm not
And
saying.
I know that they perform in it and
I'm not going
stuff.
to say that out here and be like, Mean Girls is a. Oh my God, it's Christmas time. It's time to watch Mean Girls. But if someone was to say, what is the category of, where does it fit in the category of movies? I wouldn't say it's a Christmas movie, but I would say that it has Christmas in it. So therefore it is a Christmas movie. If someone wants to give me the argument of like, it's a Christmas movie, I'm like, well, yeah, there's Christmas in it. So I would call it a Christmas movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't try to contradict what I said, but you know what I mean.
No, I got you. Yeah. Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
just think
Christmas movies are... Listen, Christmas movies for the most part are pretty cheesy. They're pretty corny, but you want them to be. It's a Christmas movie. You're not asking for stellar performances. You're asking for Santa hats and, all of that bullshit. Christmas lights and Christmas trees and every Christmas thing that you can shove into a movie, put it in there and have a damn good time with it. That's how I view Christmas movies. But I'm not a movie buff. I'm not a movie buff, so I'm not sitting here like, what the fuck? It's Christmas. I better watch all the movies. I don't watch movies ever. I just can't think of anything too much worse than sitting down and watching a movie, to be completely honest. Unless they're like movies that I love. I'm just not a movie guy. Platformer says I normally go back and watch the Doctor Who Christmas specials. It's not a traditional Christmas movie. Well, I mean, no, it's not. But I mean, Christmas themed. How great is a great Christmas episode of a great TV show like The Office?
or
Parks and Rec, or The Friends, or Seinfeld, or whatever. How many? Like they have one every season because that's just where it falls in the sea of things. But I love a good Christmas. When I used to watch Disney Channel when I was a kid, I used to love like a Hannah Montana Christmas episode or That's So
they
Raven.
were always fun.
Oh my God, they're the best, and they're cheesy as fuck, and that's what you want, especially as a child. Oh my God, you're like, Raven, what are you doing? Seeing into the future and seeing Santa Claus jump off that thing. Holy shit!
I was a big fan of South Park.
Shit, South Park.
I was a big fan of South Park and like the Christmas episode, Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, and all those.
I wasn't a big South Park guy, but I know I've seen enough South Park to know what I'm kind of dabbling into. But animation for me was never really a big thing, like cartoons. Like other than The Simpsons, and for a hot minute Family Guy, I can't really sit down and watch animation really at all, for the most part, unless I watched them as a kid. You know what I mean? Like I'm not seeking out any cartoons now. I just, as I've gotten older,
I'm not a huge cartoon guy. I prefer I'll watch like the Disney Pixar movies. Like,
me too. I'll do that.
I'm in on that
because I know it's going to be good. Like Pixar is quality.
Yeah. So like I'm more into the animated movies than I am like cartoons and things of that nature. However, like South Park, I really enjoyed. I had a small stint with Family Guy. Simpsons, real early on, I watched probably the first 8 to 9 seasons of that, like every Sunday night I did on Fox. And then I just kind of, and now they're on like season 35, whatever,
68 or whatever it is now.
Yeah. Like I'm just like, all right, well,
The Simpsons
but I've never been
the Simpsons,
super duper.
Why we're on the Simpsons? Simpsons Christmas episodes.
No, fantastic.
Oh, like some of the best stuff.
The first episode ever with Santa's Little Helper that's a Christmas episode.
It's a Christmas episode.
That's the first ever episode.
And the Simpsons, like, they understood the assignment when it came to Christmas episodes. They know what they're doing because it's cartoon and I guess The Simpsons is a sitcom.
100%.
It's a sitcom. So like but they have the kind of that on their side of being like, we can make this as Christmassy as we desire because we're all drawing this and we're all animating this. So like, that's kind of cool. Like, do you remember when they had that episode? This isn't a Christmas episode, but there's Christmas stuff in it. Do you remember the episode where they did like behind the music, but it was like they had like the Simpsons and they had the Simpsons boogie, and then they released the Simpsons Christmas boogie, and it was like Simpsons Christmas boogie. I don't know why I always think of that tune in my head, but it always makes me think of it, and I always think of it at Christmas time because you hear all like the versions of Christmas songs. In December because it's Christmas time. I always think of Simpsons Christmas Boogie because it's so ridiculous. But Simpsons is great for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I watched a Simpsons
Me
episode.
either, to be honest.
It's been literally
years.
forever.
Yeah.
But dude, at its height though, early on especially, It's one of the best shows ever.
You've got
It's
to
one of the
put it
best
in
shows
that. I
of
know
all
we
time.
had that was our first episode to talk about
I
the
was going to
greatest
say, when you
sitcom
just
ever.
mentioned that, like it's a sitcom, right? I was like, man, we didn't talk about that
But The
at all.
Simpsons has got to be in that. Whether you love it or not, you have
Easily.
to at least admit that it's like it's staying power and like it. There is a reason it's been on for 31 seasons or whatever the fuck
Oh,
they're
yeah.
at now, and it's had a movie and
Mhm.
it's. That's where things dipped for me. By the way,
movie was good. By the way,
I liked the
I
movie,
enjoyed
but
that
anything
movie.
post movie, I've kind of like been like,
Yeah,
this doesn't hit the
Mm.
same for me
Mhm.
as it did
Yeah.
when. Maybe it's just because I've gotten older too, and I'm just like, it's the same formula every episode. Bret Hart is the GOAT. Just throwing it out there. Fucking Spencer, Jesus.
I mean, I don't.
That's the
I don't
official.
disagree.
That's the official company position. Well, it is a good. I do like the fact that we're talking about The Simpsons, and Bret Hart was in The Simpsons, was he not?
Yes, he was.
Exactly. So
Yes, he was.
I'll give him that. He wins on that area. He was in The Simpsons.
Correct.
Good for him. Didn't Bret Hart like? I seen
You
this
just won
post.
something.
Yeah, he won.
He just got honored or won something.
Yeah.
And then he named off a bunch of
like random people.
Well, he named off a bunch
Canadians.
of great Canadian wrestlers,
like Trish and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he threw Kevin Owens in there, which he is. Kevin Owens is a great Canadian wrestler.
Oh God!
And he re-signed with WWE.
I'm gonna do the thing where I stop your video and then pop you back in because it's frozen.
Oh, am I frozen?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Unbelievable.
It's fine. Just get back in here. Look, it's JPJ.
Hello?
Is he gonna come back?
Moving?
Oh wait, now it's just a grey screen.
That's not good.
Well, I can still hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, everyone can still hear you. It might
Terrible.
pop back in. I'll do it. I'll do it this again. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. This is the beauty of it being live, everybody. We got to roll with the punches.
It's true.
JPJ. Oh, no.
Am I never coming back?
I don't know.
I might never come back. This might be it.
I don't know. We can still hear you. So that's, I mean.
All right.
It's, if you just see me popping in and asking you to stop and start video again, just go with it. But we can still hear you, so it's fine for the podcast side of things. But you just have to put up with my face, everybody that's watching on Twitch and or on YouTube when this releases. Yeah, Shawn Michaels wasn't in The Simpsons. I know, Spencer. I get it. He was too busy being the best of all time, but whatever. But yeah, The Simpsons, great stuff. All right, let's get back to Christmases stuffs. Christmas is. Hey, he's back! Look at that, it worked. I did it.
We're
That's
alive.
called being tech savvy, guys. It's my young brain working.
That's what happens when you go live and you're filming literally across the world from each other. So
yeah, it is what it is.
Pretty wild.
Who cares? Zoom, fuck yeah. But you're
Right.
better than StreamYards. Everyone knows how I feel about StreamYards. Well, that is true. Natalia is the boat. That is one of the most, by the way, that is one of the most ridiculous fucking things.
Yeah.
I'm the boat. Now, Natty,
Yeah.
coming from a person who farted for a part of her career. By the way, the only time that I ever found Natalia interesting, by the way, is when she farted.
When she was a farter?
Yeah, it was great. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And her acting was subpar at best, and it just made me really laugh. You know me, JPJ, I like when wrestling is brilliant or when it's just dog shit bad.
Just dog shit, yeah.
And I loved it. It was the best thing ever.
That's hilarious.
And Spencer has put in that Shawn Michaels is the BPMOAT, the best Playgirl model of all time.
I mean,
could
be true.
He's probably not wrong. I can't really tell you the amount of times that I've ever looked at a Playgirl. I don't think I ever have.
I have never.
As a 26-year-old, I have to say that I didn't really grow up with adult magazines. I had the internet.
Yeah. As a 36-year-old, I want to say up until I was probably like 10 or 11, they were very popular. And then the internet came out, and it was like, we don't need those anymore.
No, why would you need... That just seems... not to sound gross here, guys, but that just seems messy. It seems like it would get messy. And in the areas that perhaps,
I just don't... Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. There are better ways now. So that's all. That's all.
I did not
And
think we were going to talk about masturbating in this episode, but here we are talking about it. That's the beauty of this show. Happy Christmas. Have you seen that Vine? Happy Christmas. Probably everyone.
Merry Chrysler. Merry Chrysler.
Oh my God. That is a sentence that is on my screen right now, Spencer. Peeling magazine pages apart is a tangible memory from people born before 1996.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Ick.
Yeah.
But anyway,
used to be wild stories. You would hear that people would like have like a box of and they would like put it in the woods behind their house, like a box of magazines, or they would hide them under like.
It's all in here, baby.
There was crazy shit back then, man. I mean, there's crazy shit now, but yeah, well, those didn't exist back then.
Well,
even
true,
in like
but
1992, those didn't exist.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
didn't have anything.
I'm just trying to think of when
you would go like when I would get home from school. So like I was in first grade, 1991, 1992. When I was in when I was in first grade, I would be like, I'd get home from school and I'd be like, hey, Ma, can I go ride my bike with my friends? And she'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, all right. And there was no way she could reach me. She would just let me go. She would just let me go ride my bike with my 2 or 3 friends and just hope I came home.
Fingers crossed.
Think about that. There's no cell
now you
phones.
can get like murdered and shit.
You know, like there was nothing. Yeah. So it was literally like, all right, well, I hope he comes home. Like, okay.
Well, so you're in. So that was
weird.
When did you say that was 1990? Like 2.
I was born in 85. Your first grade, 6 or 7. Yeah. So it was probably like early 90s, 92, 93, 94. Like
I wasn't even a thought in my parents' mind at those years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was born in 95. So by the time I was
94, you were a thought.
No, I was born at the end of 95, mate. I wasn't a thought.
Okay.
It wasn't even.
But can you imagine that? Can you imagine like if you had a child and you were like nowadays, if it was there was none of that and it was like, hey, Mom, I'm gonna go to my friend's house and you were like, all right.
This is gonna surprise everybody.
Just hope you come home.
But last week, certain events that have happened for me in the last couple of weeks. I've had a lot of family gatherings, and I had to babysit my 4-year-old cousin, my cousin's kid. So he'd be my cousin, my second cousin.
Second cousin, I believe.
Yeah. Little Jensen, top little lad, loves me. I love him.
That name, Jensen?
Yeah, Jensen. That's his name.
That's a good name. I like that name.
Little Jensen and me, my cousin was like, hey, we need to go do some stuff. It'll be like 30 minutes. Can you handle that? Because everyone knows I'm not a kid person. I'm just not great with kids. It's not that I'm not great with kids. I just don't like kids. But Jensen and me, we're cool. It's probably the only kid in the world I'm like, yeah, I fuck with you. You're a good time. Like he's just chill. He plays with his little tractors and shit, and he's good. So I'm like, yep, cool. I've got it. Don't stress. Don't stress. Well, did I stress? Because in this 30 minutes, everything that could have went wrong went wrong. I was just sitting around. He was playing with his stuff. And before you know it, I'm like, the fuck is he gone? I don't know where this kid is. So I went looking around the house. I'm like, he surely can't get too far. He's in the house. Well, he decided to play a game of hide and seek. He was hiding the thing. He's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, fuck. He was in his cupboard fucking wardrobe thing. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So I got him out of there. Then he started eating something that was, I was like, are you meant to be eating that? And I was like, I don't know what the rules are here. And I'm like, don't eat that. And then it was like, he needed to go to the toilet and everything was just going on in this 30 minutes. And I panicked. I'm like, I'm so glad that I am a gay man that can't have any unexpected pregnancies because holy shit, I'd be out of there in a heartbeat. I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'd just melt.
Yeah.
And that was for 30 minutes. And I thought this kid was...
Imagine that for eternity. Thank you. All the time.
I got home and I was hugging my cousin. I was like, thank fucking God you're back. Because he was eating stuff and he was hiding. And she's like, he's just doing his normal thing. I'm like, I don't know what's his normal thing. I was stressing. I just panicked the whole time. But he's pretty chill. Jensen's pretty lit. But I don't have that paternal instinct it comes out of me and I stress in that, man, but I just don't, nothing comes. Dad mode does not take over my body where I'm just like super dad, and I'm like, I've got this. Like
Yeah.
I just don't have that
Yeah.
naturally in me. I don't know what it is, but
That's fair. That's fair.
I'll see him again in a
am
few days for Christmas. So like, I'll be like,
that'll be
don't
good.
leave him with me. You leave him with someone else.
But I'm sure you'll see him opening some stuff, and you'll
Yeah,
be like, "Oh
he'll be
man,
like,
he's so
"Fuck yeah."
excited and fun," and
Yeah,
he'll
he'll love
eating
it.
that shit up.
He'll be like, "Fuck
Christmas
yeah,
is
Santa."
made for 3 or 4. Like
Oh,
Christmas is
yeah.
made for that. That's
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
for those kids. You know.
Even my little brother's a
So-
little older now, so it's like, you know,
No, but 12 is still right in the
I mean,
wheel,
12
like,
is
you know.
still, but he's starting to like. Santa's very real, everybody. Just putting that out there, but he's starting to ask some questions.
Hugely real.
Just starting to ask a few little questions about some stuff, and you're like, I remember that when I was like, what's going on here? What is Christmas? You know what I mean? You remember that age where you're like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but Santa is
100%.
real. Santa is very real, and I can't wait to get my presents from Santa. What do you hope Santa brings you this year, JPJ?
You know, I need a new camera for this. I would like a
Ooh.
fresh up of a camera. I would also a better lighting situation, maybe like a ring light or something of that nature as well. My lighting is not the worst, but it could be a little bit fresher of a scene here. We could have like a slight upgrade in camera, slight upgrade in lighting, I think would do wonders.
I think it would.
Other than that, Christmas is always tough for me because like I'm the type of person that if I want something, I usually just get it for myself.
Me too,
I really don't wait around. It's like, oh, this is coming out, or oh, I need this. All right, cool. And I just get it, you know.
And then by the time someone's
by the
like
time
asks you, like they're like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, money.
I have nothing that yeah, like exactly. Like I have nothing that I wanted that I just didn't buy. You know what I mean? So
I get what you mean.
And again, I don't
unless
buy
it's a big purchase or
I buy
something
more
like
things
that.
than yeah, exactly. If it's I buy more than I probably should, but I don't buy. I don't want to make it seem that I'm just like
fucking
give me everything. No, but like if I really want something, when it comes out, I get it.
And no, I understand.
It makes it harder for the end of the year, especially with my mom, because my mom sounds like she's like your mom. She wants us to still
feel like Christmas.
I mean? Like I'm 30. Yeah, I'm 36. My sister's 32, 33, something like that. And we go over there, and it's not a giant pile to the ceiling like when we were 12, but like there's still half a dozen. There's still a decent amount of gifts there, and I'm like,
she wants you to unwrap. Mom,
like
likes
I love you,
I
love you. Thank you for doing this, but like
you don't have to.
I'm 40.
Yeah.
Soon. Like,
but mom just loves it. That's just a mum thing to do. They just want to keep the youth in you alive. You know what I mean? They want to keep it, make it feel like
part of it too. She's like, you know what? It's still Christmas to me. You're still my kids, and I love this.
I don't think mums will ever. I don't think mums, well, parents in general, but mums especially will never view their kids as not kids. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
They will always.
We're always their kids. We're always their kids.
To them, we're still 11 years old, like trying to figure out the world. So, which I love my mum for that. It can be annoying at times where you're like, please treat me like I'm a little bit older, but also like, you're my mum. So like, you're probably the only person in the world that I'll let get away with that without being like, stop doing that.
Correct.
Because it's your mum. Mums know best.
I'm a mama's boy.
Me too.
I'm a mama's boy.
And I don't care. I'm a mama's boy. I haven't always been, but as I've been older, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I had great relationships with both my parents. So like I was a mama's boy and like the typical like go to baseball games and go to football games with my dad. My dad would bring me to concerts before I could drive. He would bring me to wrestling events when I was younger. Like my dad was very much like it was equal, but I was a mama's boy. Whenever I was sad or angry or whatever, sick,
I got
things of that nature, it was mom first, and then dad was always there to kind of be backup.
Even as an older person, as an adult, I'm still like, if I'm sick and I'm too sick, I'm like, Mom, I need help. Like, what's going on? And she's like, I got you. Don't worry. And she'll come over and she'll make sure everything's fine. And like, I've had times where I've had nothing more than the man flu, just normal, typical man bullshit where you're just like, I'm dying, but you just have got the flu. You're fine. But mum will come over and like sit in my living room while I'm in my bed, and she'll just like watch TV and be like, do you need anything? And it's just like, oh, isn't that the best thing ever when you have your mum just to like, because that's what, but my mum like loves that. she loves being the person that you call. Like, if you don't call her when you're sick, she's like offended. She's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Like, just call me
Yeah.
and I'll come and help you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. That's just my mum in a nutshell. But she never, mums are like, especially at Christmas time and that, I always try and get I like giving gifts. I find it weird to receive gifts because I get a bit like, oh, you don't have to buy me shit, but like people like to. But I like giving gifts. I love that joy. I know this sounds selfish. Oh my God, but I don't care. When you give someone a gift in their face and they're like, oh, like, thank you so much. You're like, yeah, like that's a good feeling. Like, and I always try and go, like with my sister and my brother, it's really easy because I can just buy them something that I know they'll like. But with my mum, it's less about buying something and more about like sentimental value of like giving her something that she knows is from you. And, like, my mum loves that kind of shit. Like, she's the type of mum that's like, if you get her a photo framed of, like, like, us kids, she'll be, like, crying. She's like, oh, this is the best gift ever. When my sister, if I gave her something like that, my sister will be like, are you fucking kidding me? She'll be like, get me something better. And I'll be like, noted. So, like... So that's what I'm like. I love giving gifts and stuff like that. Even if it's just like a box of chocolates to someone, you know what I mean? Like that gift, that's like, oh, you thought of me. Like I like that feeling of like giving that. But receiving gifts, oh, I get weird. I get really weird. I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Why did you buy me something? But it's like,
I don't get weird. I'm
you
like,
don't?
oh, a gift? Thank you. But I do agree with you when it comes to giving gifts. Yeah, like I like giving someone a cool gift, or like giving someone well, you know, that, like you said, you know, they appreciate it, and then you're like, all right, that makes you feel good that like they know I care about, like, yeah, they know I care about them, and they know that like and also it feels good for me. So in my family, on both sides, there's little kids. My cousins have little kids, and when I get them stuff and they like love it, they love it.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Little kids are the
You know what I
best
mean? Like,
to give presents to.
oh my God. And when they get a toy and they're like, oh, and like when after they open all the toys, like they play with that one first or something.
Oh, that's the,
yeah. I was like, that's right. That's right. That was my gift. Nailed it. You know what I mean? I get real jacked up when it comes to that stuff. But
yeah, it is good.
Yeah. But
Gifts are a great. I'm a person that measures. I guess I'm in this way. That's how I show love to people. Even if it's just random, it's not Christmas or something, like I'll buy someone something to be like, hey, I like you in that sense. Like friends, whatever it may be. I think I've always done that. I'm like, oh, I like this person, so I'm going to go out of my way to get them something because I know that they want this or, you know, whatever it may be. Like, even if it's just like you're with a friend or with a family member or whatever, you know, partner, whatever, and it's just a simple thing of like, oh, I'll shout you a coffee. I got you. Like, I've got this one. Like, that's how I measure like appreciation and love. I do it less of like a physical sense and more of like, that's my way of showing, hey, like that's how I appreciate you. But I get weird if people do it's weird. I'm a really weird human being, but that's how I have always kind of done it. So like at Christmas time, it's like, cool. I like make sure I listen to what people want, make sure they don't have it and like stuff like that. I'm a good person and I love giving people surprises. I love when it's a surprise, when it's like, you don't know what it is and they unwrap it and they're like, holy fuck. You know, some people like, they're like, hey, I got you this. Or like, you just like, hey, I bought you this. It might, you know, whatever. Like, I like the idea of a surprise. I like being surprised and I like giving gifts as a surprise gift. Like, I like that feeling. It's a cool feeling. It's risky sometimes though, because you're like, ooh, are you gonna like it? But like, I like that idea of like not knowing what's in there, like the big reveal.
Yeah.
I don't know how about you, but
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I like, I like a lot of things about Christmas, especially when it comes. So my family has a tradition of, we do what we call a Yankee swap. Do you know what this is?
No.
So my family, once you turn 8, so for the kids in the family, when they're growing up, everybody usually gets the kids gifts, right? They're kids. So everybody pitches in and gets them all different types of stuff from everybody.
Gotcha.
But once you turn 18 years old, you're considered an adult. And then once you become an adult, not everybody buys you gifts because we don't got time buying each other all gifts. So we put it into a Yankee swap, which is where you put all the names in a hat and you pull out a name, and that's the person that you're getting a Christmas gift for this year.
We call it Secret Santa.
Okay. Cool.
So Secret Santa. So, and you don't tell.
Oh, maybe that. No, yeah. Yankee Swap's a different thing. Never mind. So that is Secret Santa. That's my bad. Yankee Swap is another type of Christmas game you can do. That's a whole separate thing. If you ever heard. I completely messed that up on those on the names there.
Secret Santa. So you get like the name and you don't tell them that, and then you give them, and then they go, "Oh, who's this?" And it's like, "I had you," and they had someone else, and blah blah blah. And you have like a limit of what you can. Well, some people have like limits of what you can spend.
Some people, we usually put like a
whatever 40
price limit on it.
$40 limit,
and we roll that way. Yeah. So it's good. Like when we rag on the kids, like so when the kids are like 17, we're like, "This is it, man. This is it. Last year of Christmas." Like we'll like pick on them and stuff like that, and they'll get like, "Oh, shut up," because they all get these. They still get a ton of gifts from everybody, and then they're like, "Yeah, just one next year, man. Getting old." Ragging on them, stuff like that. But wait, so obviously I fumbled that, but have you never heard of a Yankee Swap though? If I tell the actual what a Yankee Swap is? All right. So say you went to a Christmas thing and there were 9 members of your family there. Everyone would bring a gift. You usually have a dollar limit on it as well. Everyone brings a gift and then you draw numbers. So you would draw 1 through 9. And then the first person would go and pick out a gift and open it so everybody can see it. And then who goes number 2 opens another gift, and they have the option to swap gifts with number 1.
I've seen this in The Office.
Keep what they have.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this in The Office.
So this on an Office episode?
Yeah. Okay, I know what it is.
That way, and then the person who draws number 1 at the end of the game gets to have last choice and take
because on The Office they had like a thing, right, where it was like a $10 limit, right? So everyone spent, but Michael was like, "Fuck this, I'm going to buy an iPhone," and then everyone wanted the iPhone or the iPod. It was like an iPod at that time. It was like an iPod.
Yeah. That would end friendship.
So like everyone was trying to get the iPod, and like people had like a thing, and like it was a whole setup. But yeah, it was. Yeah, that's an interesting. I wish I did more stuff like that. My family does not do that kind of stuff. We have to be honest, my family's kind of small. I have a kind of a small family. So we just kind of do the same thing with my mum and my siblings every year. So it is what it is. But yeah, that does sound like fun kind of stuff. We used to do Secret Santa at work. We don't even really do that anymore. So oh well. But I like that. I like that kind of stuff. It's fun to do that. Well, as we're kind of winding down, it would be silly of us not to talk about wrestling Christmas stuff. Because there's been some wacky stuff over the years, Christmas themed Raws and Christmas themed wrestling things. Listen, Christmas and wrestling is just things that don't mix. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think I've ever enjoyed anything Christmas and wrestling. Well, no, hold up. I won't say that.
I was just going to say,
there's been a couple of things that I've liked.
Yes.
But for the most part, holiday episodes of Raw or holiday episodes of SmackDown or wrestling in general are pretty throwaway. I agree. It just is what it is. But I do remember, if I can say anything about Christmas and wrestling, you might have not been watching at this time. Actually, you might have popped back in because it was after Shawn and Taker. In 2009, do you remember when DX reunited again in 2009? Like the very last time they reunited before Shawn retired. It was like the DX army.
Was it just Shawn and Hunter?
Mm-hmm. And they were fighting Legacy, like Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. I've seen those matches, but I don't think I was watching regularly.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. They had like WWE Shop Christmas things, and DX were the ones that presented it. And I remember this segment where they were saying like, "Hey, go on www.shop.com and get all this stuff." And Shawn Michaels was like, you can buy the new SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 video game. It's available on Ybox, PlayStation 475, and Wii 4000. And I don't know why I remember this forever. And Triple H was like, "Shawn, no, it's this and it's this." And then Kelly came in. That's right. And she was like, "Shawn, actually, it's Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Wii." And he was like, "Right, get out of here. You stole my Thunder Sister." And she like walks off, and Triple H is like, "Hey, hilarious. That's a DX Christmas shirt. You give that back." And she took it off and threw it at him. And Triple H just goes, "Jingle bells," because she's got her tartars out, but like it's off camera. And Shawn Michaels is like covering his eyes, and he's like, "Bye, bye, bye." I don't know why I remember that Christmas segment out of all things in wrestling. I remember that so vividly because I just found it so funny that Shawn was so confident by the way. I'll send you this clip after we're done, and you can watch it.
I would like to.
You would love it because it's just silly humor of, DX.
Like goofy as hell.
It's goofy, and Sean is so confident that that's what they're called, the systems. And then when like Triple H asks her to take off her shirt, and Sean's like all like, my Christian eyes, like, I can't look at boobies. And Triple H is like jingle bells, and I'm like, this is like corny DX shit at its height, and I love it. Like, that version of DX, not like edgy DX.
Yeah.
I mean, like, like that version of DX. Like, it was just so dumb. But you will lose your mind at how confident Shawn Michaels is calling all of these things the wrong name. Like, he's like smiling and he's like looking at the camera with the game in his hand. I'm like, oh my God, this is like,
because a part of you looks at it and you're like, Shawn Michaels wouldn't know
because he's
like,
old
that
as
would
fuck.
really be him. Yeah, exactly. So the two, I agree with you, and I agree with your take on like any type of themed. Again, I don't want to just stick it to WWE, but it's wrestling in general. But any type of themed
let's just be
Raw
honest.
or
What we watched
SmackDown,
grow up was WWE. There wasn't a lot
WWE,
else. Like AEW's new and WWE's
but
what
like any themed things of that. Well, not any. There have been enjoyable ones, but mostly they're all like,
they're just garbage, aren't they?
The two things that I remember or the two Christmas moments that I remember, both involve one Stone Cold Steve Austin. Who just had a birthday the other day, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday. I know you're listening out there, Steve.
I mean, how could he not be?
I know.
It was cool, though. He put a thing on social media where he like double did the beers and he clanged them and stuff. It was awesome.
It was great.
The first one is when he stunned Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
On Raw. I remember that one. That was a wild one because Santa was being a jerk to people. Being kind of a rude Santa.
As he always is.
Nah, bro. Yeah. And Santa was like, not today. I mean, Stone Cold was like, not today. And then the other one was they were in front of the troops.
I remember this.
Vince was out there.
Yeah.
And there was a person dressed up in Santa outfit. And then Vince kind of turned around and he was being heel Vince. And Stone Cold slowly took off all the stuff and he stunned the crap out of Vince McMahon, and all the soldiers were going crazy.
They loved it. Yeah. I miss when they did tribute to the troops like that. They actually went over to Afghanistan or wherever they went.
Yes.
Whether the year it was. Like, that was always I know it was probably kind of dangerous in a sense of like, that's probably pretty dangerous for them to just be having a full-on show. I mean, it was pretty protected, but you know what I mean. But it was pretty cool that they did that. I know they still kind of do tribute to the troops now, but it's just like, what it is. But it was a cool thing. They did that for a few years. They did it from like 03 or 04 to like, they did it right through, and for quite a while they were doing tribute to the troops, like going over and then they just did trips for a little while where they would just send talent over without filming like a, episode of SmackDown or Raw. And then they kind of just veered out of it and started doing it from the US. But yeah, that was always at Christmas time, wasn't it? Tribute to the Troops was always a Christmas.
It used to be, yeah.
Christmas thing tradition for WWE, and it was always a good thing.
Those are the two Christmassy moments that I remember.
I do remember a lot of it. I don't know. I don't like the person.
Didn't The Rock had a song, right? The 12.
Oh God, Rock's done so much
12
shit.
Nights of Rocky Christmas or like something like that.
Probably about Poo-Tang Pie or something like that, right?
Yeah, he mentioned sharpshooters in there. 12. Damn it.
I can't remember.
I'm probably gonna have to look it up. But
I don't know. I don't like the person that's in this segment, but it is what it is. I distinctly remember a year when Mick Foley was Santa and Alberto Del Rio ran him over.
Cena, right?
No, Alberto ran him over with a car. Do you remember when Mick Foley was Santa and Alberto Del Rio?
He did it a couple times.
He's done it a few times.
John Cena saved him one time, I think.
Alberto hit him with a car. I just remember that because Mick hit the front of the car, and it was really odd. It was a taped episode of Raw. It was edited really weird. I hate Alberto Del Rio. There's no fucking. There's no controversy in saying that. He's a piece of trash. But he ran him over with a car, and it was a whole shtick. What other Christmas things can I remember? I remember the Santa stuff with Stone Cold, and I remember the tribute to the troops thing. There's been so many others. Where people have been dressed as Santa and then revealed themselves. And has there been any matches that have involved Santa?
I don't think so.
Surely there has been.
Yeah, there's had to have been, yeah, but none that I can.
They've
remember.
never. You can't tell me that they've never not thought of the idea of putting Santa Claus in a wrestling match.
I mean, they put God in a wrestling match, didn't they?
That's true. Shawn Michaels and his tag team partner, God, versus Shane and Vince McMahon.
So
that was when McMahonism was McMahonism and all of that. What a story, hey? Wrestling is fucking insane. What an insane thing to do. And that was in 2006. Yeah. It wasn't like it was all that long ago.
No.
That is in recent history. You know what I mean? Like he was fighting God, and he asked Shawn to tag, and the spotlight that they had for
that's all I had was the spotlight. Yeah, they just had a spotlight.
God, because Shawn
did Vince win? Did Vince beat God? Is that what happened then?
I can't remember.
I can't either. But did Vince? Was that a thing? Like he came out the next night and said that he beat God?
McMahonism was strong. Of course, Vince put himself over God. Why wouldn't he? Did you see what Vince said yesterday on Raw? How he said, "I like firing people.
He enjoys firing people,
especially during the holiday season." I'm like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe have said that. No, I understand what you're doing.
He added that in there. Himself.
I can't understand Vince anymore. Like I can't understand him. Literally, I can't physically hear what he's saying anymore. Like what's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't it's like he's talking underwater. I don't understand why he's so old. I just can't understand what he's saying anymore. I don't know. Vince is he's like losing his brain a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think that we would I don't think we need to see him on television anymore. That's it. Like, for an appearance here or there, he comes out, he does the walk, maybe a quick promo, every so often if he's still
pop the crowd, pop the mask.
I assume he will. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think we need to see him regularly on, and I agree with you. Like, I haven't had trouble hearing him, but it sounds like muffled and like quick.
It's
and
weird.
Like, I'm just like,
he's like talking
to me, it sounds like he does. He doesn't care about, he doesn't. He's just there to be Vince McMahon doing. He doesn't give a shit.
Austin, say what you will about Austin Theory.
He's like 23. He looks great. He's good in the ring. I get it. He's, arguably not a great dude, depending on some of the stuff you read. But I understand why they would want to push someone like that. I've said for a little bit now that he gives me young John Cena vibes, a bit.
But is the Vince McMahon rub a thing anymore? I don't know if it is. I don't
think so.
Not on television, at least.
I think it
hinders him.
I think it's a deterrent. I think it's a deterrent to an extent. Now, what would be a good rub for him? If you just book him like a star, that'd be a good rub. But they don't really do that with anybody anymore. So they don't, how many times, and again, I understand it made it a 4-way match, but we watched the WWE champion get pinned clean on Raw last week. That's not.
I don't know what to say on that. It's just
things like that.
It's an argument that will never die, and it's an argument that will go on forever. One thing that I will add, I know that we weren't going to talk too much wrestling, but it would be stupid of me. 2 things. We'll talk more about this next week, because next week on the show, we're going to be doing a 2021 year in review, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot of wrestling. But when you talk about 2021, and I think this could be a nice little teaser for next week's episode, Bianca Belair has had the year of a lifetime. That moment, I know that we've seen Doudrop and her wrestle 3 times in 3 weeks, whatever it is. But that moment where she picked up Doudrop and hit the KOD, that place went absolutely insane. I'm saying this now, you can replace the Hogan-Andre slam with that. We don't need Hogan and Andre anymore. That is this generation's Hogan-Andre in a sense. She picked up Doudrop and walked with her on her shoulders and then hit her move flawlessly. Bianca Belair is a freak athlete. We talk about once in a generation, kind of athletes. I think a lot of people call Brock that. Brock was a once in a generation athlete. I'm for certain that right now we should be saying Bianca Belair is a once in a generation athlete. There's nobody on her level of athleticism. Nobody.
Did you ever watch that thing that they had on the network? I think it was mainly NXT and development people, where they had actual they did a day's worth of workouts Like actual workouts?
What was it called? The combined, or
Yeah, they
like
did something like that.
yeah.
She
Was
was
a freak.
the best performer there, male or female. She just
It does not
dominated
matter gender with her.
everybody.
She's
No,
she's a
she
freak.
dominated everybody.
Anytime I think, oh, she
Like-
can't do that, like she can.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous. And really, she's been wrestling for a cup of coffee. She has not been wrestling for very long.
Not at all.
Like, this is it. This is
She's
her
a star.
only... The times that we've seen her on television, basically, is what we've seen.
Mhm.
She's trained in front of our eyes. And she is just a natural freak athlete. Well, it's kind of unnatural at this stage. She's like, how can you do that? Like, Doudrop is a considerable amount bigger than a lot of these women. And I don't mean that as a knock. She is, and I mean that as a nice thing to say. I'm trying to say it nice. I don't mean it in a nasty way. But Bianca Belair picked her up with like literal near ease and walked with her on her back. Like Hogan and Andre was just like ugh, you know what I mean? And like done. Yeah. She walked with her into the center of a ring and flipped her over onto her stomach. That is ridiculous. Like that place went nuts. Like they went nuts. Oh, yeah. And WWE crowds are kind of a dead piece of shit at this stage. Like they're dead in the ass. But they went absolutely wild for that. So as they should. Like I have watched that video. I didn't watch Raw, but I watched that video. Like I think I tweeted about it a few times because I was like, that is ridiculous. Like that was the moment we all were like, is she going to be able to do the KOD on Doudrop? Like as soon as they started working, I'm like, I can see the end game here is that she's going to pick up Doudrop. I didn't think she was going to be able to do it in that way. Like that is a ridiculous amount of strength. Like good for her. I
wouldn't have been shocked if she was able to squat her.
She probably could.
Like that's how crazy of an athlete.
I don't think I'm ever going to doubt Bianca ever again. Just be like, no. If you think you can do it, I think you can do it. And she does it so flawlessly. All of the stuff that she does, like her 450s, flawless. Like everything that she does is just so flawless. I just don't. There's an argument for other people with who's had the best year, but I can't look past her because I just think that she got beat in 26 seconds by Becky Lynch and she's kind of unfazed.
Yeah, I feel like she had after that, the first couple weeks was kind of like, okay, what? But
I think that was more us than them. I think that was more us being like sour about it. But it really didn't. Probably. It didn't deter her at all. She's just like on to the next.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. She just keeps doing her thing, and she's just a natural. She's someone you should build the company around.
I would argue that they nearly are. They always have something for her. I want to see Bianca Belair in a ladder match. Sign me up. Could you imagine the stuff that she could do?
Next year, if she's not the champion, there will be a Money in the Bank match, and I would I would
hope that she would be in it because I'd like to see. I mean, this year she's had Royal Rumble victory, WrestleMania main event, Sole Survivor at Survivor Series in very high-profile matches with the top women of the company. I'm talking Bayley, Becky, Sasha, Charlotte. She's had matches with them all. She is pound for pound the strongest person they have in WWE, pound for pound. And I just don't think that anyone has had a better year than her. Really don't. But we'll talk more about that next week.
Yeah.
But that I just wanted to talk about that moment where she picked up Doudrop because that was.
I've only seen the clip. I didn't watch Raw either.
Me either. But
I was like,
all-time moment that will be played. Oh, yeah. That should be a moment that you should just replay.
You know how they always show how they always show John Cena lifting up Big Show and Edge. That's should be part of his highlight reel. That'll be part of her highlight reel.
It has to be
her career. Like that'll be on there forever. You know,
she is just a mega star. She just oozes. I talk about having
the second you see her, and like she's one of those people that if a non-wrestling fan sees, so if a non-wrestling fan walked into my house at the same time Bianca Belair was coming out, like of the entrance, they would be like, "Who's that? Who's that girl with the hair and dancing and the outfits and just looks like she knows she's the shit."
She oozes confidence.
She is the shit.
She's the shit.
Yes,
she really is.
She just knows it.
I know we say
that's right.
Jade Cargill calls herself that bitch, but like that's Bianca Belair. Like she is that bitch. You know what I mean? Like she's just the girl that is just beautiful, athletic, just jacked, a freak athlete, like just has, you can't teach someone to have charisma. You cannot teach that. to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And she has it in just spades. Like she just, like it just like oozes out of her pores at this stage of like just charisma and star quality and having all the tangible qualities that you need to be successful. And she just has it like tenfold.
100%.
She is so
Yep.
damn fantastic.
Leaps and bounds a star. Like just
mega
next
super
level.
just put all the she's just Prince money. She's basically farting money at this stage, I'm pretty sure, because my God, what a mega star. But we'll talk more about that next week. We'll kind of wrap things up here on the recording side of things. Twitch people will stay in for a couple of minutes just after we hit record to say goodbye. But JPJ, you got Between Two Beards coming up. You've got, 2 more episodes left of the year. I'm sure you'll be talking to some Christmas stuff on Between Two Beards, as if you're hearing this in a recorded version, tonight on Between Two Beards. But if you're listening right now on Twitch, in a couple of days over on Love Wrestling's stuff is Between Two Beards. Anything else that you want to plug away before we wrap it up?
Well, yeah. So Between Two Beards, yeah. So yeah, depending on when you're listening, it'll be Thursday night or tonight. So Thursday night. Yeah, we'll have a somewhat Christmassy themed episode. But we have a big episode next week on the new year. So we'll have a year in review when we do our thing on Thursday morning. And then on Thursday night, we're doing the Beardy Awards.
Oh, yes.
So like year-end awards, the Beardies.
Oh, yes.
We're going to try to reach out to some people and try to get some maybe fun guests on to come on at some point. So that'll be like a big year-ender show for us too. But yeah, we'll be on tonight talking Christmas, I'm sure. But next week will be a longer, we're going to start a half hour earlier at 8 instead of 8:30. So it'll be a longer
special
show where we have an award show special year-end edition of Between Two Beards.
Between Two Beards. Beardies, eh?
Yeah.
Talking all wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
we got a
here.
trophy and everything.
Hello,
it's crazy.
Giddy's coming to say goodbye as well. Do you got anything you want to plug, Giddy? Great. Okay, she didn't want to plug anything. I have got, so for everyone that's listening on the recorded version, Christmas Eve, I've got some stuff coming out about the return of the Legacy of. Legacy of will be back in 2022. You're going to know the date, and you may even know the first subject of the first Legacy of we're having back in January. Legacy of is changing a little bit. Don't worry, it's only for the better. You have it's all done now. Thank you for the love on You Have It. I don't know if it will be back, if Legacy of will take another break sometime soon, just for the, just to keep my palate kind of stimulated and fresh, a bit of a cleanser. We might have You Have It come back, but that was a fun series just to kind of do and kind of do something a little different. But Legacy of is my baby, and you'll know more about that on Christmas Eve. So if you're listening right now on the Twitch side of things, obviously in a couple of days. Recorded version, it'll be tomorrow. So get ready for that, because I will just put it this way. I'm pretty certain that the first guest is not someone that you'll be expecting, but better than that, it's the first guest, and I can nearly say that 99% of the internet loves this woman. Obviously, it's a woman.
All right.
So get ready for that.
All right.
Oh, sorry, Giddy. Jesus. She just like went, I didn't mean to do that. She's like, whatever. She's whatever. But from me, from JPJ, have a lovely and safe holidays, whether you're celebrating Christmas or not. Have a safe holiday season. Stay safe. Stay away from COVID, everybody. We know that it's kind of picking up some steam again. We're in a third wave of this now, I believe it would be called. Yeah, we're sick of it too. Don't worry. But stay safe. Eat a lot of food. If you're eating a lot of food, spend some time with loved ones. Give your mum a big hug and kiss. Give your dad a big hug and kiss. All that kind of good stuff. And we will see you for the final episode next week when we talk 2021, the year of kind of special. We'll be talking wrestling, music. We'll probably actually talk a lot of music next week, because I've got a lot of stuff cooking. I'm like, this is what I've loved. And don't worry, I'm not talking about the gay butt sex song, although I do like that song a lot.
Yeah, I know. I've seen all the videos, so we talked about it the other day. So.
Spreads my cheeks and he makes me scream. He's the number one daddy, gonna make him cream inside of me. It's actually a banger, but it is about gay sex. But hey, that's my brand. I will. We'll see you for the last episode of the year. next week. Goodbye.